Daddy Was a Rock Star by Rosie Alabaster, read by Willow Nash, directed by Joe Bromley. On the way to school one morning, Eddie blurted out,
"My daddy was a rock star. I've only just found out."
Some older kids were quick with a sneery, mean response.
"He isn't any more," jeered Jake. "He just was. Once." "I've seen your ancient daddy. He's as wrinkly as they come. He should use a Zimmer frame. Are you sure you are his son?"
"His hair is long and stringy. It's well beyond a joke. Maybe he was famous once, but now he's just a bloke."
Eddie scuttled into class and kept his head down low. When people think your dad is dull, it comes as quite a blow. He worried in his maths class, still fretting at home time, irked by what they'd said. Is old and wrinkly such a crime?
"How was school, my darling?"
Ed sighed and gave a shrug. Mummy instinct kicked right in, and she wrapped him in a hug. Don't listen to them, Eddie. Daddy really is quite cool. He may like doing jigsaws and just snoring by the pool. He may like basket weaving and making pots of jam. But when it comes to being with you, he is your biggest fan. Once he had a jet plane to take him to each gig. He wore super skinny trousers before he got too big. Daddy loved to smash TVs and leave hotel rooms in a mess. But he paid for all the damage. That's something I should stress. He went to crazy parties and stayed up till way past 3.
But now he just sits and sighs, dunking biscuits in his tea.
Well, one day he gave it up so that he could be with us. He said that he was tired of all the travel, noise and fuss. That evening, as Daddy served his famous lentil stew, Ed asked about his old life with his bandmates and his crew.
"Daddy, aren't you bored being stuck at home with me? Don't you miss the glitz and glamour when you're cooking me my tea? Aren't baskets a bit boring? Why do you make those jams? Why don't you read those letters from your old adoring fans?"
Assembly next day was how St. Giblets could go green. Growing veg, hedgehog homes, and air that's nice and clean.
"We also want to raise some cash to get our power for free. We'll stick panels on the roof to make some solar energy. Does anyone have thoughts on how this could be done?"
Ed piped up.
"Dad could give a concert. I'm sure it will be fun."
Jake called out.
"Not that wrinkly rocker who does jigsaws."
Ed was not put off.
"Why not? It's for such a brilliant cause."
Eddie's daddy wasn't sure. It was all so long ago.
"Get the band together and the tunes will start to flow."
The band was more than happy to raise money for the school. It was just the excuse they needed to prove they were still cool. They dusted off their amps. They purchased new drumsticks. They squeezed into their denim. They practiced jumps and kicks. On the day, the band forgot that they were old and bent. They wowed the crowds with their greatest hits. They nearly filled the tent. The bassist got a little dizzy, tripped and took a knock. But overall, the gig was great, and the crowd screamed, "You guys rock!" In fact, the band raised so much money They could buy a turbine too, and now the school is eco-friendly, which I think's quite cool, don't you? Ed loved hearing Dad play in his heavy metal band, but he also felt a feeling for which he hadn't really planned. He loved to see his daddy rock, but was glad he'd settled down, no longer touring round the world, moving from town to town. Now Dad was close at hand to pick Ed up from school, to wipe his nose and fix his tea and mess out in the pool. Dad loves life more than ever now he's found the peace he sought. Leaving Mummy time to do her job as a NASA astronaut.